far away from Earth, in a galaxy filled with strange stars and silent moons. There was a small mining moon called Raxon. It was dusty, cold, and full of caves that held rare metals. Many alien workers lived there, mining day and night. Ships came and went, picking up cargo. But deep under Raxon's surface, hidden from visitors, was a prison made of light and stone. Inside that prison, behind a glowing shield, sat a girl named Nira. She looked like a normal person, young, quiet, and calm, but no one dared to go near her. Her eyes glowed softly like blue fire, and her hair moved slowly like it was floating in water. Some said her skin could break machines. Others whispered she was cursed by an ancient weapon that destroyed her whole race. The galaxy feared her. Guards walked near her cell in silence. They didn't speak to her. They didn't even look at her. Every system near her cell was reinforced with energy blockers just to keep her powers in check. Then one day, a new ship landed on Raxon. It was a human cargo freighter called Wanderbright, flown by a man named Tomel. He was not a hero, not a soldier, just a kind trader who moved supplies from one planet to another. He wore an old jacket, carried a tool bag, and loved hot tea. He had no idea a living legend was trapped on this moon. Tomel came to Raxon for one reason: to collect a shipment of rare blue crystal for a customer on Mars. As he waited for the loading to finish, he wandered around the mining station, curious about the strange way people moved. Everyone looked nervous. They avoided a certain hallway. Even the guards there looked tense. Tomel, being human, didn't believe in ghost stories or moon curses. He followed the hallway. Down below, he reached the prison area. When he arrived, he saw the glowing shield. Behind it sat Nira, still and quiet. She looked at him with calm, glowing eyes. One guard noticed him, stepped back. The alien barked, "Do not get close. She's dangerous." Tomel frowned. "Who is she?" The guard replied in a low voice, "She's called Nira. She was found floating near a dead planet. Machines around her break, energy surges, entire ships fail. We keep her here so she doesn't destroy anything else. But she's just sitting there." Tomel said, "She doesn't speak, she doesn't eat, and she doesn't age," the guard said, fear in his voice. "Some say she was made in the last galaxy war. Some say she's a curse that became real." Tomel stayed quiet for a moment, then stepped forward. "Stop," the guard warned. "If you get too close, she'll break your ship or your bones." Tomel turned slightly. "Has she ever attacked anyone?" The guard paused. "No." Tomel walked forward. Slowly. Nira didn't move. He reached the edge of the shield. Just a few inches away, the energy field hummed like a soft wind. He looked into her glowing eyes. "I'm Tomel," he said softly. "Can you hear me?" Nira blinked. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Her fingers twitched. She slowly stood up and walked to the edge of the shield. For the first time in years, she stood face to face with someone not afraid to look at her. Tomel placed his hand on the energy shield. To the guard's shock, Nira raised her hand and placed it on the same spot on the other side. Nothing happened. No shock. No explosion. Just stillness. Tomel smiled. "You're not dangerous. You're just alone." The guard ran to hit the alarm, but Tomel stopped him. "Wait, nothing's happening. Look." The energy around the shield started to dim, like it was calming down. The light shimmered, then flickered, and then without warning the shield dropped. The guard gasped and backed away. Tomel stood still. Nira blinked again, slowly, carefully. She stepped out of the cell. Her bare feet touched the floor. Lights flickered for a second but didn't go out. A camera sparked, but only briefly. She looked around, almost afraid herself. Then she looked at Tomel. He took off his old coat and gently placed it around her shoulders. "You must be cold," he said. Nira clutched the coat. Confused, Tomel turned to the guard. "She doesn't need a cage. She needs a friend." The guard didn't know what to say. Tomel guided her up the hallway. As they walked together, workers stared, stunned. Some ran, others simply watched. Everyone had feared the being behind the light. But now, that cursed girl was calmly walking beside a human who had touched her without fear. Something had changed, and far beyond Raxon, in a dark control room orbiting another star, a tall figure watched the scene through a monitor. His eyes narrowed. The mining moon Raxon had never been so silent. Aliens from many worlds stood frozen as Tomel. A simple human trader walked side by side with Nira, the girl everyone feared. She wore his old coat, too big for her small frame. Her glowing eyes looked at everything: walls, lights, people, as if she hadn't seen the world for a long time. No alarms rang, no walls cracked, nothing exploded, but fear still filled the room. Stop them. One officer shouted from behind the security desk. She's unstable. You'll bring down the whole station. Tomel turned calmly. If she was dangerous, we'd all be gone by now. The officer didn't move. He didn't know what to do. For years, the people of Raxon believed Nira was a weapon, a curse, something to lock away, not set free. Yet here she was, quiet, calm, walking beside a man who treated her like a person. Tomel led Nira to the lounge, where old chairs sat and machines served hot drinks. Most workers had cleared the area. Only one old robot cleaner hummed as it rolled by, ignoring them both. Tomel helped Nira sit down. Her fingers touched the chair's fabric carefully, like it might disappear. She sat slowly, back straight, unsure. You okay? Tomel asked. Nira looked up at him, then nodded once. He smiled. Good. Let's get you something warm. He walked to the drink machine. Ever had tea? She blinked, confused. Tomel laughed gently. You like it? As the machine filled a cup, Nira watched him. She didn't understand him. The others had always looked at her with fear. Guards avoided her. Scientists tried to study her. But this human, he smiled. He helped. He offered kindness without asking for anything. He handed her the cup. Her hands trembled slightly. She looked unsure, then brought it to her lips and took a small sip. It was sweet, strange, warm. She smiled just a little. Tomel laughed. There it is, first smile in the stars. For a moment, Nira forgot she was feared. For a moment, she was just a girl drinking tea. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, in a floating command ship called the Iron Crown, leaders of the Nurex Alliance gathered around a screen. Alien generals and cloaked advisors stared at the image of Nira walking beside Tomel. She's awake. One hissed, and the human is with her. Another, taller and darker, said she was supposed to remain sealed forever. She touched the station systems. That's enough to place a high-level threat alert. The leader, Admiral Fask, raised one hand. Silence fell. Prepare a bounty, he said coldly. Alive, if possible. Dead, if needed. And the human, Fask, narrowed his eyes. Collateral. Back on Raxon, Nira followed Tomel to his ship, Wanderbright. Resting on the outer pad, it was an old human cargo vessel, patched with different metals, but strong. The engines were warm. The name was painted in fading yellow letters. Nira stopped before the open ramp. She hesitated. Tomel looked back. What's wrong? Our voice was soft, like a whisper from space. I've never left the station. He stepped closer. You don't have to stay trapped anymore. Nira looked up at the sky. Stars blinked above like gentle eyes. She stepped forward and entered the ship. Inside, the lights didn't flicker. Nothing broke. Machines stayed on. She sat on a seat near the wall, touching everything slowly. A humming radio, a blinking panel, a small picture of Earth. Tomel watched her. You're doing great. She looked at the picture. Earth, is it real? Yeah, it's green. Blue skies, oceans. You like it? I don't belong anywhere, she said. Tomel sat down beside her. You do now? Nira turned her head slowly. Her eyes weren't glowing so brightly anymore. They looked softer. Just then, a light flashed on the ship's screen. Incoming message. Urgent. Tomel tapped it. The image of a space control bot appeared. Human freighter Wanderbright. Do not leave Raxon. A bounty has been issued. Subject, Nira. Status, high threat. Location, tracked. Tomel frowned. They're coming for you. Nira looked down. They always come. Tomel stood quickly and moved to them. Controls. Then we'll leave before they arrive. You should leave me, Nira said quietly. They will destroy you too. He looked at her, firm and steady. I'm not leaving. Nira stood. I don't want you to die. Tomo smiled, even in the tension. Then you'll have to help me fly. Nira blinked, surprised. Can you do that? He asked. She nodded slowly. Yes. Engines flared. The ship lifted from the pad. Outside, guards shouted. Drones flew toward the Wanderbright, trying to block its path. Nira placed her hand on the console. The screen blinked fast, then the drone systems froze in midair and fell harmlessly to the ground. Tomo stared. Did you? I calmed their signals, she said quietly. He laughed. Remind me to never play cards against you. The ship shot into the stars, vanishing into the black beyond. From deep space, Admiral Fast's voice echoed in his command room. They escaped. Track them. Wherever they go, find them. Inside the quiet cabin of the Wanderbright, Tomo poured another cup of tea and handed it to Nira. She took it. This time, her smile was a little wider. The ship Wanderbright floated quietly through deep space. Stars passed by like tiny lights in the dark. Inside the ship, Nira sat near the window, her eyes watching the stars. She looked calm, but something heavy stayed in her heart. She had escaped the prison on Raxon. She was free, but she was not safe. Beside her, Tomo checked the ship's systems. He hummed softly as he worked, tapping old buttons and wiping dust off the screens. Engines warm. Oxygen steady. Power levels are good, he said with a smile. And you didn't break anything today. That's a record. Nira looked at him. I don't try to break things. I know, Tomo said. You only break what fears you. She blinked. What do you mean? Tomo pulled up a chair beside her. Back on Raxon, when people looked at you with fear, the lights flickered. The machine shook. But with me, nothing happened. Nira thought about it. It was true. When the guards were near her, wires sparked. But with Tomo, everything stayed calm. I don't understand it, she whispered. You've been alone for so long. Tomo said, maybe your power reacts to how people treat you. Nira looked at her hands. Then I am the danger. No, Tomo replied. Their fear was the danger. You were just surviving. They traveled for several days, jumping between quiet corners of space. Tomo taught Nira how to make simple food, how to fix a light, and how to play old Earth music on the control screen. One night, Nira heard a soft song, just a piano and voice. It made her chest feel strange. What is this feeling? She asked to Mel. Smiled. That's music. It makes people feel things they don't have words for. I never had feelings before, she said. You were never allowed to, he replied gently. Now you can. But peace didn't last long. Far away, the Nurex Alliance was still searching. In the Iron Crown, Admiral Fast stood before a glowing map, tracked their energy trail. He ordered. A small scout ship followed behind the Wanderbright, hidden behind dust clouds and broken moons. On the seventh day, Tomo and Nira landed on a small space station called Dravik 5. It was quiet and old, a place where no one asked questions. They came to buy fuel and food. Nira wore a long cloak, her glowing eyes hidden. As they walked through the market, Nira stayed close. She saw new things, robots selling fruit, creatures with feathers, others with metal arms. They don't fear me, she whispered. They don't know who you are, Tomo said. And maybe they wouldn't care if they did. But someone did care. In the shadows, a bounty hunter named Kelran watched them. He was tall, with silver armor and scanner eyes. He had seen the wanted posters. He had followed their ship. He tapped his wrist communicator. Target located. Prepare capture team. Inside the Wanderbright, Nira placed the supplies gently. On the counter, she was starting to smile more often. But then the ship's alarm beeped. Tomo checked the screen. Incoming signals. For ships, not traders. Nira stepped beside him. They found us. Tomo grabbed the controls. We're taking off. But before they could launch, a powerful blast hit the side of the station. The lights flickered. The ship shook. Outside, Kelran and his team moved in fast. They wore black armor and energy shields. Give up the girl, Kelran said over the speaker, or we disable your ship. Tomo gritted his teeth. Stay behind me. But Nira stepped forward. I can stop them, she said. No, Tomal said. It's too dangerous. I don't want to hide anymore, she replied. She walked toward the hatch. The door opened slowly. The bounty hunters aimed their weapons. Then, Nira raised her hand. A soft blue light came from her fingers, not fire, not lightning. Just light. It touched the walls, the floor, the machines, and everything stopped. Weapons froze midair. Suits locked in place. Ships powered down. The hunters stood still, shocked. Unable to move, Kelleran shouted, "What is she?" Tomal stepped beside her. "She's not a weapon," he said loudly. "She's a warning, and you didn't listen." With a gentle wave of her hand, Nira lowered their systems. The energy faded. The bounty hunters dropped their weapons and ran. The station was silent again. Tomal looked at her. "How did you do that?" "I didn't destroy them," she said. "I spoke to their machines. I asked them to stop." Tomal smiled. "You didn't break the world. You're learning to speak to it." Later that night, as stars moved outside their window again, Nira looked at her reflection. "I was made to end things," she said softly. "But now, I feel something new." "What is it?" Tomal asked. "Hope, but far away." Admiral Fast received a message. She is growing stronger, and the human is helping her. Fast's eyes turned cold. Then we no longer ask for capture. We prepare for war. The ship Wanderbright moved quietly through the stars once again. Inside the ship, Nira sat near the small window, watching the endless space. Her glowing eyes were softer now. She didn't look like a weapon. She looked like a traveler, like someone searching for something she didn't yet understand. Tomal stood beside the control panel, adjusting the course. His fingers moved over the buttons while soft music played in the background. "We'll reach the empty zone in 6 hours," he said. "No patrols, no bounty hunters, just quiet space." Nira nodded but didn't speak. Tomal looked at her. "You've been quiet since Dravik 5. She turned toward him. "I've remembered something." Tomal sat down. "What did you remember?" Nira looked down at her hands. "I was not born. I was made." Tomal stayed silent, letting her continue. "I was created by a dying race," she said, "long ago. During the last galaxy war, they called themselves the Aurelian Order. They wanted a living key, a being who could unlock any system, shut down any enemy." Tomal listened carefully. "They mixed energy, memory, and machine inside me. They built my body. But something unexpected happened. You started to feel." Tomal asked. "Yes," she whispered. "I learned fear, then sadness, then loneliness." She paused. "My creators feared me. I was too strong. I could control machines without touching them. They tried to shut me down." Tomal leaned forward. "What did you do?" "I ran," Nira said. "I hid in space for many years, floating, sleeping. That's when the miners found me and locked me away." Tomal's voice was soft. "You didn't ask for this life." Nira looked at him. "But I want to choose now. I don't want to be their weapon. I want to be something else." Tomal nodded. "Then that's what you'll be, outside." The stars shifted as they entered the silent zone, a dark patch of space with no planets, no signals, and no warships, just quiet. Tomal turned off the ship's main lights. "Here, we rest. No one will find us for now." He made 2 cups of tea and handed one to Nira. She took it with a small smile. "I never had choices before," she said. "You have one now." Tomal replied. "And you're not alone." Later, as Tomal slept in his chair, Nira sat alone at the control panel. She closed her eyes. Her fingers touched the metal surface gently. Then something happened. A soft wave of blue light spread across the ship's walls. Not strong, not dangerous, just curious. Like her energy was reaching out to learn. She could feel everything: the ship's heartbeat, the flow of power, the music stored in the memory banks. She could feel warmth where Tomal slept, and something else, a signal. It was weak, far away. But calling to her. She followed it in her mind, past stars, past empty moons, past the places she had never seen. And then she saw it, a beacon left by the Aurelian Order. Her creators, still active, still waiting. It pulsed slowly in the dark, a message hidden in light. To the one who remembers, return. Your purpose awaits. She opened her eyes, shaken. Was this a trap, or was it a chance to understand her true self? The next morning, Tomel yawned and rubbed his eyes. You didn't sleep? Nira shook her head. I found something. A message from them. Tomel became serious. From your creators. She nodded. A beacon, still active. They're waiting. Tomel frowned. Could be a trap, or it could be answers, she said. He looked at her, then sighed. Do you want to go? I must, she replied. But not alone. Tomel smiled. I wasn't planning to let you go alone anyway. They changed course. The journey would take 2 days. During that time, Nira grew quieter. She spent hours near the ship's systems, speaking to them in soft whispers. The ship responded more smoothly, more gently. Tomel noticed it. The ship likes you now. Nira smiled slightly. It listens. On the second night, as they approached the beacon's location, Nira sat with Tomel and asked, Do you think I'm a person? He looked at her, surprised. Of course you are. But I was built, she said, not born. Tomel thought carefully. You think, you feel, you choose. That makes you a person? Nira looked away. The galaxy still fears me. Then we'll show them who you really are. At last, they reached the location. A dead world circled a cold star. On the surface stood a tall, glowing tower, the beacon of memory. They landed nearby. And Irie stepped out of the ship first. Her feet touched the gray ground. The wind was still. No guards, no traps, just silence. She walked toward the tower. The doors opened for her. Inside. The walls were made of crystal and light. As she walked, memories awakened. She saw images, scientists in golden robes, working late into the night. She saw her younger self, floating in a tube, unaware of the world. Then she reached the center. A voice echoed, You returned. Why did you make me? She asked. To end wars, to bring silence. But you grew beyond your code. Why did you fear me? Because you became more than machine. You became life. Nira touched the center crystal. Images of her escape, her loneliness, her time with Tomel all appeared. Then, a final message appeared. You are free now. No command remains. The choice is yours. Tears came to Nira's eyes. She walked out of the tower and back to the ship, where Tomel waited. He stood and asked, What did they say? They released me, she said softly. I don't belong to them anymore. Tomel smiled. Then what do you want now? Nira looked up at the stars. I want to live. But far away, on a hidden moon, Admiral Fask watched a new report. It showed Nira's energy spike at the beacon. She's stronger than before, he said. And now she knows who she is. Fask turned toward his officers. Prepare the fleet. The calm of space shattered in an instant. Tomel and Nira were still near the cold world with the glowing tower behind them. The stars above sparkled, peaceful, as if nothing was wrong. But far above in orbit, a fleet of ships appeared. The Nurex Alliance had found them. The lead ship, large and gray with bright red lights, cast a shadow over the planet's surface. Inside, Admiral Fask stood watching the screen. His face was grim. This ends now. Back on the surface, Tomel felt the ship tremble. Enemy ships, he said, eyes wide. They're here. Nira's fingers brushed the control panel. The ship's systems flared briefly. But she stayed calm. We can't run forever, she said softly. They want to stop me. Tomel nodded. Then we faced them, but not with guns. Nira looked surprised. Without weapons, Tomel smiled. Sometimes words and courage are stronger. Outside, the Nurex fleet blocked the path to the stars. They sent a message, Surrender Nira. You are a threat to peace. Submit or be destroyed. Tomel opened the ship's main communication channel. This is Tomel of Wanderbright. He said clearly, Nira is not a threat. She is a being with feelings and a choice. You fear what you don't understand. A silence followed. Then a cold voice replied, Your human empathy won't save her. She was made to control machines and weapons. She is dangerous. Tomel took a deep breath. She was made by fear, but she chooses kindness. Nira stepped out on the ship's open deck. She raised her hand. A soft blue light glowed around her fingertips. She spoke slowly, clearly. I'm not your weapon. I am not your enemy. The Nurex fleet paused. Some ships flickered, machines humming quietly. Nira continued, your fear controls your actions. But I asked for peace. A small cruiser sent a signal. Hostile action detected. Attack order. Lasers fired. Tomel shouted, hold on. The ship shook. Shields glowed bright. Nira's light grew stronger. It reached out to the attacking ships. One by one, their weapons powered down, engines slowed. The fleet's ships could not move. The captain of the lead cruiser shouted, what is this power? Tomel smiled. Her power is control, not destruction. Nira's glow wrapped around the enemy's ships like a calm wind. Stop this war, she said softly. Some of the ships powered off their weapons, others stayed ready. Tension filled the space between them. Tomel sent a message. Look at her. She saves lives, not ends them. Let us talk. Let us find peace. Slowly, some ships withdrew their weapons. Admiral Fast's voice echoed through the channel. You have bought time, human. But this is not over. Inside the Wanderbright, Tomel and Nira sat quietly. Why do they fear you so much? Tomel asked. I was made to end war, Nira said. But I want to help life grow. Tomel reached out. You've changed the galaxy's mind today. Maybe they will listen? Nira smiled softly. Maybe, she said. But Admiral Fast prepared his final plan. The galaxy fears what it does not understand, he said. If words do not work, then we will show strength. His fleet moved away, but the warning was clear. Prepare for war. The stars shone quietly once more, but the galaxy was watching, and the girl who was feared had shown them a new way. The silence inside the Wanderbright was thick. The stars outside blinked quietly. But inside the ship, tension built like a storm. Nira sat on the floor, hugging her knees. Her glowing eyes were dim. For the first time, she looked afraid not of others, but of herself. Tomel knelt beside her. What's wrong? She didn't answer at first. I've never been afraid before, she said softly, because I was trapped. But now, I fear what I can do. Tomel listened carefully. I was made to be a weapon, she continued. A living key to destroy or control. But I don't want to be that. Her hands trembled, sometimes. She whispered, my power feels too strong, like it will break everything. I don't want to hurt you. Tomel smiled gently. You won't, he said. You're stronger than your fear. Outside, the Nurex Alliance fleet was closing in. The stars glowed cold as the warships surrounded the Wanderbright. Their weapons were ready, engines humming low and steady. Tomel stood and moved to the control panel. We have to be ready, he said. Dot and Ira rose slowly. I'll help, she said. But if I lose control, you must stop me. Tomel nodded. We'll face this together. The enemy ships sent a final warning. Surrender now or be destroyed. Tomel opened the communication channel. We will not surrender, he said calmly. But we offer peace. The reply was cold. Peace is for the weak. Prepare for battle. The first blast hit the Wanderbright's shield. The ship shook. Lights flickered. Nira placed her hands on the control panel. A soft blue light grew from her fingertips. It spread through the ship like a gentle wave. Focus on me, she said to Tomel. I will control this power. Tomel nodded. The fleet fired again. But this time, Nira did something new. Her light reached out beyond the ship. It touched the weapons of the enemy fleet. The weapons stopped firing. The engines slowed. The ships became still. Inside the enemy ships, pilots stared, confused and amazed. What is happening? One asked. Back in the Wanderbright, Tomel looked at Nira. You did it, he said softly. You stopped them. Nira smiled but shook her head. I am afraid, she said. Afraid. I will lose control. Suddenly, the ship trembled. A surge of energy burst from Nira. The lights flashed wildly. The ship's systems went unstable. Tomel grabbed her hands. Stay with me, he said firmly. You are not alone. Nira closed her eyes and took a deep breath. The energy calmed. When the light faded, Nira opened her eyes. She was glowing softly. I controlled it, she said. I did not destroy. Tomel smiled broadly. You are stronger than your fear. The enemy fleet powered down their weapons and slowly moved back. Admiral Fast's voice came through the channel, low and sharp. This is not the end, Tomel answered. We are ready to talk when you are. Nira looked out the window. The galaxy will see me now, she said. Tomel nodded, and they will see a new future. Together, they prepared to face whatever came next. The stars shone bright as the Wanderbright moved steadily through space. Inside, Nira and Tomel prepared for the most important moment of their journey. The galaxy was watching. After the last battle, news of Nira's power and her choice to protect, not destroy, spread quickly. Many worlds sent ships to watch her, some with hope, others with fear. But now, a great council meeting was called by the Galactic Union to decide her fate. Tomel looked at Nira. This is it, he said softly. Nira nodded. I am ready. They approached the huge space station called the Summit, where leaders from many worlds gathered. The station's lights blinked as they docked. Inside, the great hall was filled with representatives, aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some wore shiny uniforms, others had ancient robes. All eyes turned to the Wanderbright's ramp as Nira stepped out. She felt their fear and curiosity, but she held her head high. Tomel stood beside her, proud and calm. The leader of the council, a tall alien named Mirael, spoke first. Nira, she said, you have changed much since you appeared. You were called a weapon, a curse, a danger, Nira. Listen, but you have shown power that protects and heals. You have stopped wars without violence. Tomel nodded. Mirael continued, what do you want from us? Nira looked around the hall. I want peace, she said clearly. I want a chance to live. Not as a weapon, but as a being who helps. The room was quiet. Then, a voice came from the back. It is too risky, said a stern officer. She could turn against us any time. Nira stepped forward. I was made to control machines and weapons, but I choose kindness. My strength is my choice. Tomel added, fear should not decide our future. Slowly, some representatives stood and applauded. Others remained silent. Mirael raised her hand. Let us give Nira a chance. A vote was called. The results showed a close decision, but in the end, the council agreed. Nira would be free to live and travel. She would work with the Galactic Union to help protect worlds, not destroy them. Outside the hall, Nira looked at Tomel. We did it. Tomel smiled. Together. The days that followed were busy. Nira learned about different cultures, helped fix broken ships, and even shared stories of Earth and her journey. She laughed for the first time in years. The galaxy was changing. Old fears slowly faded. More worlds welcomed Nira as a symbol of hope. One evening, Nira and Tomel stood on the deck of the Wanderbright, watching the stars. Do you think I belong here now? She asked. Tomel wrapped an arm around her. You belong wherever you choose. You are more than a weapon. You are a new beginning. Nira smiled. Together, they looked ahead. A new age was coming where fear no longer ruled, and kindness was the strongest power.